Hi, welcome to episode number 49 of the GunWriterTV. We're going to be talking about two recent, very high-profile deaths that were caused in Sarasota by negligent discharges.
And we're not blood dancing here. We're not armchair quarterbacking. We just need to get this out. We're not placing blame or hitting a person while they're down.
We want to fix the problem, not the blame.
Right, exactly.
And both of these deaths could have been prevented. Let's start with the one at high noon.
Yeah, horrific incident. Hot brass hit gentleman, and he went to clear the hot brass away. And I think everybody's seen the news, but
yeah,
you know.
I watched the video. It's one we'll never have on our site. It's one I wish I could unsee. But the gentleman's in the far lane. He's shooting a blue gun. He's shooting his .22. Gets a piece of hot brass on his neck, between his neck and the collar of his T-shirt. Takes his firearm and starts to sweep it. At some point, the gun goes back and fires right into his 14-year-old son. Hits the kid here. Bullet transitions through the body, hits a couple of organs, and we're told comes out his side. The other video that they had shows what happened afterward. I don't want to get into that. Let's talk about the rules.
Well, just like we talk about in our firearm safety classes, one of the very first things we talk about is the 3 rules of firearm safety. You know, rule number 1 is always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction.
Downrange.
Rule number 1, in a safe direction. And the NRA likes to sugarcoat things, and it almost sounds like an airline thing. Always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. One of the things I like to say is do not point the gun at anyone or anything you do not wish to destroy.
Right.
Because you will destroy that object or that person. You know, rule number 2 is always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. And rule number 3 is always keep the gun unloaded until ready to use. That's the 3 rules of firearm safety. And if you follow those 3 rules,
regardless of what happens,
you probably will not have a accidental discharge resulting in an injury.
Right.
You know, there are gun malfunctions out there. The gun can malfunction, but if it's pointed in a safe direction, it's not going to destroy anyone or anything.
An R-51, a Japanese Nambu, which have out-of-battery fires, if it's pointed in a safe direction, is going to not hurt anybody.
Right.
You've been in the booth, you've been on lanes with your students that have been hit by hot brass.
The first thing I do is when we take somebody out on the range, is I'll stand behind them with my hands up like this, right on their shoulders, not touching them, but just right there. Some of the people that are in the lane with us in the class probably freak out because I'm standing there like this. But I've had it happen before with a student. I've had it happen 5 times with a student where the shell hit the wall. And I can remember particularly this one female that we had. It hit the wall, and she was wearing a low-cut shirt, and it went right down the front and got stuck. And she was like, ow, ow, ow. And I reached over top of her shoulders, and I grabbed the gun like this. And, of course, I'm right in her ear, and I'm yelling, let go of the gun, let go of the gun, let go of the gun. She lets go of the gun, and then I go, okay, now get the piece of brass out of your shirt. Right. And I set the gun down. I've been burnt so many times just from being behind people at the range. You know, the shell comes out and hits me. Yes, it does hurt, but it's not like anything that's going to leave a lasting impact or require any kind of surgery or anything. So just put the gun down. If you're shooting, put the gun down and clear the brass off of your shirt.
See, for me, having been in law enforcement, the natural reaction anytime I got to get rid of this pistol is to put it in a holster.
Right.
Which we can't wear.
That's what you're trained to do.
That's what you're trained to do. Yeah. Oh, need this hand, got to put it in the holster.
Right.
Can't do that in most of your indoor ranges, unfortunately.
Right.
I wish we could, because that becomes rote memory. That's good muscle memory. Got to get rid of the gun, put it in the holster. In this case, you got to get rid of the gun, put it on the table.
Set it down in a safe direction.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're going to get burned. Anybody that shoots indoors should be prepared for hot brass.
Right. People that go shoot indoors also shouldn't wear any low-cut shirts.
And they shouldn't wear sandals.
Wear a collared shirt, wear closed shoes, no open-toed shoes, because you get that hot brass in between 2 toes, that's going to hurt a little bit.
It's going to sting.
Yep.
The second death resulted from a backyard plinker who our investigations have shown hung a paper target on a wood fence in his backyard, starts shooting at it with a .22. A couple of the rounds left, and they hit condo, located line of sight about 100 yards away. Neither of those rounds caused any injury, thank God. If had the woman who lived there been in her sewing room by her sewing machine, she would most likely not be here. Another one of the rounds that was fired, we're told, flew 200 yards and clipped a gentleman right at the base of the skull. He was out watering his trees, likely dead before he hit the ground. Now, that investigation is still open. They're not sure who fired the rounds. They're pretty sure where the rounds were fired. When investigators went over there, they found the homeowner painting over a section of fence where the target had been. I'll let the viewers figure out what that means. But this brings up backyard shooting ranges and backstops.
Yep. That's another thing we go over in our class. Know your target and what's beyond it.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're shooting into a fence in a residential area, that's not going to work. That's not a proper backstop.
That's not even safe with a BB gun.
No, the BB gun, I've seen BB guns go right through fences.
Yeah.
You know, Guillas, the Gia, the short 22s that are just the primer, that will go right through a wooden fence too. So, I mean, know your target and what's beyond.
Yeah.
You know, if you're shooting into a forest and there might be a house on the other side, you might have that magic bullet and make it across. Don't shoot into it. Have a dirt berm. Go to a gun range.
Go to a professional gun range.
Yes, yes.
That has berms.
We have plenty of them around here, and they're all pretty nice.
Best way to stop a bullet, lots of dirt.
Lots of dirt.
Lots of dirt.
Or a steel plate.
The kind you can't have in your backyard.
Right.
Now, we're not telling anybody not to shoot in their backyard if they want to go out and create, if they have enough space and enough money to create a safe range. Hey, great, good on you. I'm envious.
Wish I had it at my house.
Yeah. But a wooden fence is not going to stop an air rifle or a BB gun, much less a 22.
There was one more thing I wanted to talk about was the misfire, hangfire, squib load. A lot of people don't know about that when they come in. I've had guns all my life. People come in, you know, as Mike would say, I've had guns my whole life. Guy comes in and they don't know what a misfire, hangfire, squib load is, and how to properly take care of it if that situation arises. So we've all shot 22s, right? And we got it loaded up and we point it in a safe direction. We're ready to fire the gun. We pull the trigger and it goes click. You've had that happen, right? Yep. Especially with those bulk box 22s.
Especially with 22.
You know,
cheaply made.
When it goes click and it doesn't go bang, that's a misfire, right? So what do we do when that happens? Okay, we need to assume that the gun could still go off
a hangfire
at any time. Yeah, which is a hangfire. A hangfire is a perceptible delay in the ignition after the firing pin or striker has hit the primer on the gun. So it could just sit there and smolder for a little bit and then go off, bang. So every misfire must be treated as a hangfire, right? So what do? It goes click. We keep the gun pointed downrange without our finger on the trigger. Don't attempt to open the action for at least 30 seconds, right? After 30 seconds, it's probably not going to go off. Some people don't think 30 seconds is a long time, but there are people that pay millions of dollars for a 30-second commercial in the Super Bowl. You can get your point across. 30 seconds is a long time.
And given Florida's humidity and gunpowder, that's a great amount of time to wait.
Yeah, totally.
Because ammo can be affected by the humidity.
Yes, especially if you keep it in your garage.
Exactly.
You know? So once your 30 seconds is up and you can count 1001, 1002, 1 hippopotamus, 2 hippopotamus, however you want to count it, but count to 30 seconds. Remove your magazine if it's a semi-auto, because the ones in the mag are good. It's the one in the chamber that's bad. Pull back your action. You can get the round out, and then what do we do with it? Do we try to load it and shoot it again?
Oh, absolutely.
No,
we don't. We don't.
We get rid of that round, right? Don't put it in your pocket and save it for later.
Nope.
Usually a range will have a bucket on it, and that's what the bucket's for, is for those rounds. Yes, for misfires. Because if a hangfire goes off, you could kill yourself or somebody else. My instructor told me a story once where the guy had a misfire, and he actually looked down the barrel to see if he could see what happened, and he blew his head off.
Real quickly, we've got a minute left. Squibs are not a bang. Squibs are kind of more of a pop.
Or even a fuzz, a fizz. You know?
The big thing to remember when you're target shooting, time is not a problem. If you have a squib, if you have a hangfire, put the gun down.
Put the gun down. Yeah.
Bring in a professional, bring in an RSO, bring in somebody that can help.
Take it to a gunsmith, figure out why that's happening. Squib load gets the bullet stuck in the bore, and then the next bullet hits it and the gun blows up with your hands around it.
And that's not a good thing.
No, not at all.
Thanks, brother.
But I think we needed to get this out today.
We did. Not pleasant, but it's necessary.
God bless, long live the Republic, and keep your powder dry.